You ever decide to take a break from making YouTube videos for a little bit to focus on your life and career? And then during that break, YouTube is all like, so I'm back. I know. I missed you too. Alright, stop that. Stop. Shut the fuck. Now, I lied. In my last Breath of the Wild video, I said that this was as bad as Breath of the Wild can get. But if you turn to the timestamp 3 minutes 21 seconds and pull out your trusty magnifying glass, you'll see something interesting. Look at how high resolution this is. Honestly, it's hard for me to tell that this isn't just a photo of real life. Indistinguishable from reality. What, do we live in 4K Ultra HD land? No. So using my YouTuber ingenuity, I discovered a way to make Breath of the Wild look slightly less good once again. Enjoy this shit. As Zelda tradition goes, Link woke up from his nap. I could immediately tell that this game looks too good, so I switched on a black and white filter to make sure that I would be getting as little out of this experience as I could. The interior walls didn't render as usual, but this time around it was so dark that you could hardly notice anyway. I opened the main door and the light shoneth upon my face to give me a detailed view of what I had become. I ran onto the cliff and looked upon Hyrule yet again. It's exactly how I left it. Ugly as fuck. I tried communicating with the old man, but unfortunately he only spoke low resolution. Though the language barrier between us diminished our ability to speak with each other, our primal bond allowed me to telepathically tell exactly what he was trying to say. After this, I was rethinking the whole black and white thing.
Alright. Let's think about this. Is the grayscale too much? I mean, I hate it, which makes me like it. But also, I'm wondering if it detracts from the overall garbage. See, when it's off, it's like still bad, but now it's bad in so many different ways.
This was my first time playing on Master Mode, and I underestimated my ability to take on a blue bokoblin. I screenshotted this for the thumbnail, and Ganon raised the castle force field. The old man spoke to us again. We entered the Magnesis Shrine and performed our first speedrunner time save.
Get ready for this shit. Nailed it.
The Guardians appeared as RuneScape-esque as you would imagine. Normally, I would go around the mountain to get to the Stasis Shrine, but this time I tried climbing up the mountainside. Art.
Sing! It isn't even that hard. If you actually get it by the while, you wouldn't have any trouble.
After many attempts at defeating this bokoblin camp, I decided to go ahead and go stealth mode. Without their weapons, it was only a matter of time before I would defeat them. I cooked some cold-resistant food, jumped the ice bridge gap, and went surfing. On my way to the Cryonis Shrine, I remembered my last video when I attempted to do a Cryonis Shrine skip, but failed horribly. This time will be different. I've seen it done plenty of times, so I was sure I would be able to get at least really close. Alright, it's time for part 2. Oh my god. I'm not trying to sound pretentious when I say this, but I think I might be the second coming of Jesus Christ. You ever just sit down one night at around 12:44 a.m. and think to yourself, Breath of the Wild's a pretty good game, right? And then you look at how you're playing it and you wonder where it all went wrong. After completing the shrines, I got a stamina vessel and took to the skies to escape this plateau of confinement. My first stop was to pick up Majora's Mask, hopefully making traversal a little easier. I whistle sprinted across Hyrule Field until I saw something strange in the distance. I couldn't possibly imagine why any of the modifications I added would cause a collection of horses like this to spawn, but it sure did. My low render distance caused me to be in a lot of inescapable situations, as guardians wouldn't even spawn until I was too close to flee. The interior of the castle was so dark that I could immediately tell that there was no way I'd be able to navigate it. I figured out that I could hold my runes activated to see a rough outline of my surroundings, which helped a lot. I wanted to pick up the Hylian shield before the Ganon fight, so I visited the Stalnox in the dungeon. I should have guessed that he would be impossible to see. I was able to get a few hits on him, but in the end, his eye popped out, flew into my body, and took my life. With this failure under my belt, I realized that in Master Mode, I wouldn't be able to just go straight to Ganon. I made a plan to gather some equipment I knew of around the overworld, starting with the Gerudo weapon stash in the desert. I got a Radiant Shield, Edge of Duality, Golden Bow, and Moonlight Scimitar. Next was possibly the most important item I would gather. At the Woodland Tower, you can find a Royal Claymore wedged in the skull-shaped stone at the top. The final important step was to get an armor set together. I decided to get the Phantom Armor because it's easy to find and really powerful. I picked up the helmet from the Colosseum, the armor from the circle thing in Hyrule Field, and the greaves from the Hyrule Garrison ruins. Now that we have everything we need, it's time to completely f***ing bury our boy Link in ice. Now that Link is ready, there's one more step we need to take before fighting Ganon. I still want the Hylian shield, so I went back to the Stalnox and realized that I'm now a little over-prepared. He went down super easily, and I got the best shield in the game. I navigated through the castle with the intent of fighting Ganon immediately, but remembered that I had almost made a fatal error. I don't have any arrows, so I warped out, bought arrows in Kakariko and Hateno villages, then finally got back to the important task at hand. I had a standoff with a guardian and entered the sanctum. The bosses went as usual. I used up all my arrows on Water Blight, which left me arrowless for the future fights, then realized that I had used infinite stamina cheats to run across Hyrule to get all these weapons in a reasonable amount of time. But I forgot to turn them off before I entered the sanctum. At first I thought to myself, I need to restart. But then I thought, I'm already so far into the fights, I'll just run with it and redo it afterward. It didn't matter either way though, because when I finally got to the fight with Ganon, he walked far away and despawned. The same thing happened to me in the last video, but this time, I waited, and Ganon didn't respawn. So I guess that's where it ends. I really appreciate the massive amount of support I've been getting lately, and loved reading all you guys' comments on my other videos. I promise I'll try to not take any more 4-month breaks from YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next video.